Well, it happened again.
We're sorry. All circuits are busy. Please try again later.
This is becoming a habit. I had to tell you about another incident I had with Cora, my service dog. My mother and I went to dinner. It was late. We didn't get out of the restaurant until 10 o'clock at night. So it was dark. We're in a very small town. So there was like no one around, which comes into play. When I got up from the table, the wait staff was talking to me about Cora, but not specifically about service dogs. We got onto a topic about dog hair versus fur. Anyway. So we talked for a few minutes, and then I went to leave, and there was an older man, probably in his late 60s, early 70s, that was waiting for a to-go order. And as I walked by, he said, commented on how pretty Cora was, and then reached out to pet her. Now, she had her vest on, which, again, she is a black dog. This is her vest, so it's kind of hard to miss on a black dog, which is why I got it in those colors. He reached out to pet her. I said, please don't pet her. She's working. And he kind of gave me an odd look, but I just kept on going. And my mom and I walked out to the car. Now, keep in mind, it's 10 o'clock at night. It's very quiet out. We're in a small town, and we're at the far end of town. So there's like nobody around. So I get in the car. My mom is driving, so she's getting in the driver's seat, and I look up, and he's standing right next to my window. And so I cautiously roll down the window, and I say, can I help you? And he proceeds, and I know at some point I should have just rolled up the window, and we should have just left. But for some reason, I felt like I had to defend myself. But he went on to like a 5 or 10 minute, I lost track of time, rant about how disrespectful I was to not let him pet my dog. He said that he likes dogs, and therefore, even now, I am torn between laughing and being just so angry. He told me that since he likes dogs and I didn't let him pet Cora, then that said that I didn't trust him. Which my response was, I don't know you. Why would I trust you? He took offense to that. Because apparently he's an extremely trustworthy person, which anybody should just know by looking at him, because Lord knows trustworthy people are so easy to spot. So I continued. I tried to say, that when she's working, she doesn't get petted. He then went on to say, well, I spent time talking to the wait staff. I should have spent time talking to him, which I guess could be taken a couple of different ways. The way I took it to mean was, you spent time talking to these measly little workers. Why aren't I important, or as important, or more important than they are, when they never once asked to pet the dog? So that has nothing to do with it. Then I explained to him that it is illegal to interfere with a working service dog. To which he replied, yeah, but there are a lot of laws that are impractical and stupid. At which point I actually laughed, and I said, fine. The reason I did not let you pet her, was because I said no. And no is a complete sentence. I don't need to give him a reason. It's my dog. It's my space. I don't need to give you a reason for for denying you access. And at that point, I rolled up the window and we left. And he gave me, a not so nice look, and he went back into the restaurant to get his order, I assume. And so then I turned and I looked at my mom, and my mom's face was bright red with anger. And she said, "I can't believe he just said that to you." And I asked her, and I love my mom. We have a great relationship. However, I asked her, I said, "I've told you about many of these incidents." And she said, "Well, yeah." And I said, "Be honest with me. Did you not believe me because you thought I was emotional, or I was over-exaggerating? Over-exaggerating? I was exaggerating. Or did you just blame it on my mental health issues and say, well, she's just blowing it out of proportion?" And she looked at me, and then her face got even redder, and she admitted that because of my mental health, she didn't believe that these things, I don't think that she believed I made them up. I think what she thought was I just was taking it, I was viewing it through an emotional lens and was not repeating it back to her accurately. And that was a point, I think, for her, that she realized, as close as we are and as supportive as she is, that there is still a bias in her thought process, that there is still a part of her that does not necessarily take my concerns quite as seriously as she thought she did. And she does stand up for me. She does support me when I need assistance with, issues, with different issues. And I think that she thought it was 100% I'm trying to think of the word, that there was that it was unconditional, that she did. But it wasn't until this point that she realized that wasn't true, that there are unconscious limits to what she believes or whatnot. And because she had never actually witnessed any of these incidents. She had commented one time, I told a man that he couldn't pet her, pet Cora. Actually, I'm sorry, I didn't have Cora at the time. It was with my previous service dog, Nellie. And my mom told me that I should have been nicer when I told him no. And that was really the only other incident that she had ever witnessed. And at that time, I explained to her that I was on the verge of a panic attack, and nice was not what I was concerned about at that time. I was concerned about having a panic attack in the middle of the Department of Licensing office. And she kind of waved it off. The other thing that she was concerned about, and it worried me too, was the fact that this man followed us in pitch black, 10 o'clock at night, in a very quiet neighborhood where there's nobody around, there's no traffic, there's no street traffic even, or no foot traffic rather, to follow us to our car to confront me about not being allowed to pet my dog. That was a little scary, because her thought was, what if you'd been by yourself? Could it have gone further? Because he was quite aggressive in his ranting, in his questioning. He never, of course, there was never a threat of violence or anything, but he was very emphatic in his beliefs and felt extremely disrespected. And as we know, in this day and age, people do stupid things for far less slights. So I guess this is just me popping on here again to tell everybody that I feel like a broken record sometimes. We have to respect each other. We have to respect each other's space. If someone says no to petting a dog, or to whatever it is. I don't care what it is. If someone says no, there's a reason for it. And it doesn't need to be justified or verbalized, or, I don't know if I need to, you know, put it up in skywriting and say no means no, you know. And the entitlement of him claiming I disrespected him by not allowing him to invade my space and distract my dog from doing her work. He did not see the irony in that in fact he was disrespecting my autonomy, my struggle for independence, because he didn't get his way. Anyway, I hope you all have a great day. I hope that you take this to heart, and just, be kind to each other. Be honest, and just be careful for one another. Watch out for each other, and take care of each other. We can't do this alone. Life is hard. There's so much crap out there. And I hope that you can all have a peaceful day, a peaceful life, and a joyful life.